Attorney General, good morning. Last year with Senator Grassley, I introduced and passed into law bipartisan legislation that requires DOJ and the Bureau of Prisons to strengthen and upgrade security systems at BOP facilities across the country. This includes the closed-circuit camera systems, public address systems, intercom systems. Through extensive investigation of failures at the BOP, we've identified the inadequacies of these security systems as posing a threat not just to inmates and staff, but to the broader community. This implicates public safety. And indeed, we found that at U.S. Penitentiary Atlanta, failures of systems like this one allowed widespread criminal conduct within the facility, escapes from the facility, putting the entire southeast region at risk, and that's in the words of the BOP's own internal investigators. Our bill is now law, and the department has a deadline upcoming next month to present a plan to Congress for upgrades to strengthen these security systems at federal prisons. So my first question for you, Attorney General, is whether the department is on track to meet that deadline.
Senator, first I want to say we're grateful for the work you and your committee did on this matter, and I know that you've met with the director of the Bureau of Prisons, who is adopting the recommendations that you've made. I believe we are on track to satisfy the requirements of the statute, but I'd be very happy to be sure that she or our staff meet with your staff to ensure that your expectations are being met.
Well, thank you, Attorney General, and have worked diligently to develop the kind of trusting relationship with the new director. She has a task ahead of her to reform a bureaucracy that's been mismanaged with significant human costs as a result, long predating your tenure. I want to suggest that it's a necessary condition of demonstrating that the department's taking this seriously, that this deadline be met, and that we move forward expeditiously to strengthen these security systems. Remaining on the subject of conditions in prisons, the department announced in September of 2021 that it was conducting a civil investigation, a pattern of practice investigation into conditions of confinement in Georgia's state prisons. So that was about 18 months ago. And the abysmal conditions in Georgia's state prisons, which, as in the case of federal facilities, threaten public safety in the surrounding communities and are a major public safety hazard, those failures of management, in my view, in Georgia's state prison system are appalling. They're life-threatening and have, I believe, resulted in loss of life, and they undermine community safety. So I want to ensure that the department remains committed to seeing that investigation through and bringing results that can be made public and result in change.
So the Civil Rights Division is charged with these pattern of practice investigations. They are very committed to ensuring that the conditions are changed that you're talking about. These pattern of practice investigations normally do end in a public report to the state agency involved and to the public at large. I don't know the specifics of how this investigation is going, but I can assure you the Civil Rights Division is fully behind this investigation.
But the investigation is ongoing, it's proceeding, and it's going to get a result, yes?
Yes.
Thank you. An additional investigation I led last year concerned the department's implementation of the Death in Custody Reporting Act. And one of the disturbing findings was that reporting under this statute known as DICRA had undercounted by at least almost 1,000 deaths, the deaths in state and local custody. And in our engagements with the department, it came to my attention and I was dismayed that the department is not making DICRA data available to the public. I'm going to ask unanimous consent, Mr. Chairman, that this report from the Leadership Conference and POGO titled A Matter of Life and Death, the Importance of the Death in Custody Reporting Act be entered into the record.
Without objection.
And I want to ask you, Attorney General, whether the department will commit to making DICRA data available to the public.
So first on the first part of your question, We're obviously having trouble getting full reporting. This has to be voluntary on the part of the states. I believe the statute did give us some appropriations, which we were able to use as incentives for more reporting. We're very charged with the importance of doing that. I have to say I'm not familiar with the specifics of DICRA. If it provides for public reporting of the numbers we have, then we should be providing it. I don't know whether it does or not. I'm not familiar with at that level.
You've got a lot on your plate, Attorney General. I recognize that. This is a serious concern for me and for the Senate. I did not, after those investigations, come away with the impression that there was sufficient attention at a high level being committed to ensuring that this is being fixed. So will you commit to getting up to speed and taking this matter personally into your portfolio?
Yeah, I will. You now have high-level attention if you didn't have it before.
Well, I think, good. I think we should have gotten that based upon the results of the investigation last year. I appreciate that commitment today. This needs to be fixed. Folks are dying in prisons and jails. The public needs to know who's dying, where they're dying. You at the department need to know who's dying, where they're dying, in order for you, for example, to bring the kinds of civil rights enforcement that you're pursuing in Georgia. Let's talk about domestic violence for a moment. The Crime Victims Fund, as you know, is a critical resource for the funding of domestic violence shelters, child advocacy centers, and other nonprofits. I'm hearing consistently from providers of victim services in Georgia that awards from this fund are still much lower than previous years due to some issues with VOCA reauthorization. Will you work with my office and commit a member of your team to meet with my staff to make sure that we're identifying every opportunity to increase the resources for victims and survivors of domestic violence in Georgia and across the country, and that we are expediting the provision of those resources because lives are literally on the line in my state and nationwide?
Yes, I will. The VOCA fix was very helpful in allowing us to put deferred prosecution, delayed prosecution, non-prosecution agreements into the VOCA fix. We do, by the way, believe that we're on track to be fiscally responsible all the way through 2024.
Thank you. And with my colleagues' indulgence, one final question for you. Senator Grassley and I have introduced legislation again this Congress. It passed the Senate last Congress. We need to get it through the Senate and the House this Congress to strengthen federal protections against the sexual abuse of children and to crack down on predators who use online services to target children for trafficking, for the production of child sex abuse material and other heinous crimes. We need to make sure that the law keeps up with technology. And we're seeing in Georgia and across the country, children are targeted routinely and exploited online. Will you commit?
Keep it brief because Senator Hawley and others are waiting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Will you commit to ensuring that this remains a top priority for the Department of Justice?
Yes, I will.
Thank you, Attorney General.
Senator Hawley.